Hey, what's going on, guys? Scott Newby here from Bass Brings Us Together, Living It with Scott Cat podcast, and Friday Night AV. I just wanted to hop on a video real quick. We're going through a bunch of questions and comments and emails and private messages, and I just compiled the most 4 frequently asked questions about our personal home theater. What's a better time to tackle those questions than now? So if you guys checked out any of our previous videos, we're talking about the new screen, new speakers, subwoofers, demos, meet and greets. We try to cover everything around here. We're just going to hop right into this. Just trying to keep this around of a 5-minute video. Try not to tie up too much of your guys' time or my own. But I do like to answer questions, and it's super easy to answer them this way because then I can just direct people to these videos. So what you're looking at right here, which I get a lot of questions about, is a new Seymour Precision screen. And now this is a 115-inch screen, 16 by 9 diagonal, wrapped in black velvet on all the way around. And we black velvet the walls and the ceiling to help with the contrast, make the picture look even nicer. Acoustic transparent, that was a huge deal for this room because for years I didn't do that. And so people say, well, 115-inch seems small. Not really. It's all about viewing angles, and distances mean a lot when you're talking about screens. Our eyes are about 9 feet away from this screen, so it makes about about a 50-degree viewing angle, which is really immersive to us. At times, it's even a little too immersive for Kat. She feels that she has to move her eyes some. Not on everything, but on some things. On me, I feel fully engulfed in the movie. 50-degree viewing angle has always been preferred for me. So that's kind of why we did the screen this size, this distance in this room. Now our room is small, on the small side, 14 by 16 feet. Why did I wait so long to go with an acoustic transparent screen? I don't know. I did so much other work in this room. For years, it was just, we framed out the wall, painted it white, sanded it down, made it look real good, bordered it in black. Had a few other cheaper screens that we tried. Not the biggest fan. Always noticed like stuff wrong with the material or little wrinkles here or there, or they kind of went together. Not the best. So just painting the wall and framing it out looked the best. When I upped the budget a little bit, and this is still considered, I guess, a budget screen in the crazy world of how screens can get. This screen was like around $1,300, which I'll never be one to say that $1,300 isn't a lot of money. But it's certainly an entry-level price into the nicer screens. And I can kind of see why this thing went together absolutely flawless. Like the corners I talked about on the other video. I mean, putting this thing together is like putting together a fine piece of furniture. The corners matched up absolutely perfect. The velvet looks amazing. The screen, which I've noticed on some cheaper screens we had and even over at friends' houses, there's no ripples, no waves, no crazy weird effects in this screen. So trying to give you guys an idea, like this is about pretty much about where we sit. So it takes up, I mean, the screen where we sit is very large. So, and if you had a longer disc, so basically, I mean, just off the top of my head, if we had a 160-inch screen and we were sitting like 18 feet away, it'd be close to around the same viewing angle. So it's all about distances, viewing angles. I just wanted to point that out. So that's, yeah, this, I don't know if you guys have put screens together before, checked out other screens, all these corners come, I'll get as close as I can, but man, those corners, I mean, that's perfect. You don't get no better than that. Absolutely amazing, the craftsmanship. I've known Chris Seymour for a while. This is the first product I bought of his. Just blown away, seriously. The craftsmanship, the detail on this screen has been amazing. Everybody that's come over to check it out, absolutely, I mean, it's nice. You do lose around 2 dB off the center channel. I'm not worried about this in this room. We have plenty of headroom for that. A lot of people do. And you could also put the center channel very close to the screen, where on some of the other cheaper screens that I was going to go with, they wanted you to be like 8 to 12 inches away. This screen you can get almost right up on. So Perfect fit for this room. Looks great. Works great. Amazing. On to the next question, because I promise I won't take up too much of your time. I get this question at least once a week. I only took the grill off so we could look at the beautiful subwoofers in this subwoofer and the beautiful drivers. So, question I get, you got so many subs in that little room, is that necessary? Obviously not. I was going for extreme low capabilities at very high SPL levels. Not everybody's into that. This small room, 14 by 16, has 18-inch drivers, off a ton of power, around 55, 60,000 watts. That is not for everybody, but that isn't what this question is about. Is why do some of your subwoofers look like this? Why do some of your subwoofers look like that? And why do some of your subwoofers look like that? So, I will answer that question. These are all identical subwoofers, even though they do not look like it. So basically, in the JTR lineup, this is considered the Captivator. You can get in the 4,000 watt, 120 volt version, or the 6,000 watt, like I got them in the 240 volt version. And he offers different constructions to fit in the room differently. So as you can see, this is their LP model, which fits perfectly. I got a bunch of them stacked up behind all the seats as near fields. Yes, all these recliners still do recline. They're pushed up as close as they can and still be able to recline. Fit the back wall perfectly. The side ones, two of those. These are the sofa table or ST mouse. Not trying to move the camera too fast, make anybody sick today. They work perfect for holding the surrounds. And as I showed you, the ones in the front, flank the screen, hold the speakers. Everything works good up there. And those are the tall versions. So they all have the same internal volume. They all have the same exact drivers, all the same exact 10 hertz port tune, and all the same amplifiers. They're all completely identical, measure identical, weigh identical, cost identical. They're just different configurations, because the question I get a lot is, if you're supposed to have all identical subwoofers for the best experience, how come you don't? But I actually do. It's kind of hard to explain in a text, or I got to write a book to explain it. So I'm just explaining it here to make that easier. So all these subwoofers perform identically. They're all tuned and calibration and stuff that I do myself, but I'll share that. We share that in multiple other videos. This is just a question and answer today. Another question I get is, why do you have an SPL meter back here right behind the seats? I put it back as far as I could without interfering with the back surround channels. We host a lot of get-togethers. Some people come by to experience crazy stuff. Other people just want a nice Atmos experience. Other people want 2-channel, whatever they do. The crazier people want to see what they're experiencing. And instead of me setting up the microphone where like I used to, like you can't even see, like right here on a tripod, that obviously would interfere and people were knocking it over and it was taking up a seat. Now we just plug that one in. It gives people a rough idea what they're experiencing. It always does read a little bit higher in front where I used to put it, just because you're in front of some more of the drivers. But people can see they're getting 150 dB experience and they just want to see what it is. And it's more of entertainment. Now that is an SPL lab that is tuned to Term Lab specs. That is a version 2. I have version 1, version 2. The version 2 is within like 0.2 dB at most frequencies. The version 1 was off by almost a full half a dB, 0.5, 0.6, depending on the frequency. This one is a little bit tighter tolerance, but for hosting get-togethers and let people know what they're experiencing, it certainly works. So, on to the next question. Not to be rushing you guys, but certainly just want to get through these quick. And actually, so the next question, we'll stare at this guy, and this will answer 2 questions. The simpler one is, how do you have these speakers on top of subwoofers that affect the sound? Well, a lot of loudspeakers have woofers and stuff built into them, so they would shake anyway. Maybe not to the extreme being on subwoofers. But I buy these isolation pads that are purposely built for stuff like this. Simple construction, great idea, great design. I mean, To me, I think they overcharge for them because they run like 50, 60 bucks each. But I do have them on all the speakers to help with any unwanted or to help it with anti-vibrational characteristics. So that's how I do all the speakers that are sitting on top of subs. And now for the last and final question. So this speaker, dual 10-inch, 2000 watt, 4 ohm, like 100 pound. Why do you need that as a side surround speaker? Easy answer, you don't. I could have easily went with the single 10s that I have in the back for back surrounds, but I went with these for a couple reasons. So these match the right, the center that you cannot see that's in the middle of the screen, which I'm so happy I can say that now, and the left, and the other surround on the other side of the room. So, like with subwoofers, the speaker experience, the overall experience, the more that you can get everything to match, the better it sounds. So realistically, obviously we all work with the constraints that we have in our rooms. In an ideal world, I'd like to have 2 more of those to put back here, but I do not have the room, or they'd be way too tall. The horn wouldn't fire anywhere near our heads. We'd miss out on a lot of information. I got them as close as I can. So 5 of them are the dual 10-inch. Well, basically 5 are the 210 HTs. And on the back surround is the 110 HTs. So all 10-inch drivers on the bed layers, all 2-way, as completely matched as they can be. And then the in ceilings, when I'm doing the RTJ 110 in ceilings, they will match all of these perfectly. So every mid-range driver will be 10-inch. There'll be a total of 16 10s, and all two-way designs. So that is why the surrounds are so big. I wanted them to match the front 3 during tuning, just during the experience. All the vocals match, all the frequency responses are close. Now as you move the speakers throughout the room and the way that the room treatments affect it, obviously that can change characteristics of a speaker, but we are starting off with them as identical as possible. People ask me all the time, how come you have the speakers forwarded and tilted back? Shouldn't they be on the sides? Yes, but the problem with that is, if I did that and somebody's sitting in the first seat, their head would block all the side surround action. So we bring them forward a little bit, tilt them back towards the seat, so everybody gets a little bit of surround action. If I had 14-foot ceilings, they'd be directly on the side, partway up the wall, tilted down. That's the way that should be. Obviously, once again, we're all working with what we have. So, like always, we appreciate you guys checking out these videos. The questions, the comments, the likes, the shares. You subscribing is awesome. So if you have any questions, hit us up. I try to do videos like this whenever I get a chance, answer some questions, hang out with you guys. Like always, crank it up, guys. Karate chop that subscribe button. Crank it up. Bass brings us together. Peace out, everybody. Have a good weekend.